Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time visiting. This is a viewer request, a walkthrough of the Northern Animal Tarot. I don't know how deep I'll get with it. We'll just see as we go through, but I wanted to take some time to really show off this beautiful deck. So join me as I take a tour through the Northern Animal Tarot. This is by Wilder Hearts Studio. You can see that on the bottom here. I have a funny thing about decks with seals where I like to open them from the bottom. So this deck has been used, but I've just been opening it from under here. I also prefer not to keep decks like this in the tuck box because I will wreck the box, and I prefer not to wreck the box. So it comes with, or at least it did when I got it, it came with this really beautiful little, it looks like it's been stamped or pressed somehow, this design that matches, which is super cute. I usually put all my stuff in Peggy bags, but like it's a perfect match if I don't keep it in the box. So I've been just keeping it in this, just the cards loose. So let's take a look at what comes in the deck. So of course you have the tuck box, and I'm not a huge fan of tuck boxes, but it doesn't really matter to me because I do put my decks in bags, so your mileage may vary. There is a little booklet, and I feel like with the first edition of this deck, or at least the previous edition, there was not a booklet, but don't quote me on that because I can't remember for sure. I did have a previous edition of this deck, but the cardstock was kind of thick and chunky, and I found it a little difficult to shuffle. This newest edition is on a beautiful, like, yummy, smooth matte linen cardstock, which is very nice to work with. So I have put my deck back in order so we can go through it. This is what the backings of this edition look like. I wonder if it tells us what edition it is on the box, actually. It does not say. It does not say. So I'm not 100% sure. But with the deck, you get a little title card here. It says Time to Adventure with Northern Animal Tarot. You get an All About Me spread card, a Busy Bee spread card, and a How's My Heart spread card, which is really nice. So those are fun. I will be keeping these, I think, in the box. There's also, I'm just going to pull them out from the beginning, actually. There's some oracle cards that come with the deck. Let's take a look at these, because these do not have titles on them, but they are, I think, pretty clear what they are or what they represent. We have a seed, and then we have 4 season cards. So there is a spring, a summer, a fall, a winter. We have this like messages card, the owl. Then there's some moon phases. So we have a full moon, we have a half moon, crescent moon, and a dark moon, and a blood moon. That's right. So like an eclipse moon. What's interesting to me about this is I feel like, let me see if I can remember how this works. I think these are both waning moons. I think I always get them backwards. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, that's a waning crescent, and that is a third quarter or fourth quarter moon, whatever you call it. The second, that's the waning half moon. And then we have the dark moon. So I feel like we're missing the waxing side, but I could have that wrong. Y'all don't quote me. I'm a little bit brain dead today, so just bear with. But then we have this eclipse energy with the bat, or the red blood moon energy. We have this sort of like troll under the bridge kind of vibe here with this little gnome guy up top, and he's dropping coins down, it looks like. It looks like, actually, if you look closely, they almost, yeah, they're like little coins down here. And then we have a Bigfoot type or Sasquatch type card. We have the spooky tree. We have a ghost, a shooting star, and this looks like a fairy ring here. And I think, let's see, is there entries in the guidebook for these? Yep. Okay. I could have actually just referred to this. Yeah. So we have a crescent moon, a quarter moon, a full moon, a lunar eclipse, and blood moon. Owls, winter. Yeah. So all the ones that I got right there. The one that had the bridge is the goblin card. Yeah. The goblin. Let me find that. I'm making a mess here, but yeah, there's the goblin card. And then we have the Sasquatch, the old tree, the ghost. I'm glad that there's guidebook entries here for these. The star, and then this is fairyland, so that works. So they really are, you can tell exactly what you're looking at, which is great. I haven't been working with these mixed into the deck, and I think I'm going to continue to work with the deck that way without these extra cards. I'm kind of hit or miss with this many extra cards in a deck. If there's like 1 or 2, I'll usually incorporate them, but when there's a grouping, I am less likely, I've noticed, to incorporate them into the deck. So I just like to keep things like this in the box, and then I'll store them with the box. Probably, we'll see if I store the guidebook with the deck or with the box. We'll see once we go through it. So we will take a look at the guidebook nearer to the end, but for now, let's take a tour through the cards. I have to tell you, the thing that first enchanted me the most about the Northern Animal Tarot was this card here. It's really super significant to me. There is a ladybug in the Fool. And I just have to show you because I have a thing for ladybugs. I have a ladybug on my tattoo. Ladybugs are significant to me personally. And I actually incorporated a ladybug into my own Fool card in the Unicorn's Journey Tarot. So I'll show you that real quick. So this is the Fool from the Unicorn's Journey Tarot, and instead of a dog, there is a ladybug helping Mystic, my main character. So this really like just got to me in my soul, this ladybug on the Fool. Ladybugs are a really beautiful symbol for the Fool card because they symbolize luck and like sort of fortune and such like that on your journey, but they also, to me anyways, and obviously I'm not the only one, symbolize innocence and like sort of that inner child energy that I think we can often associate with the Fool. But everything else here is like right in line with the Rider-Waite-Smith. We have a similar scene in the background and we have this hopeful little, is that a mouse? Y'all, my animal identification is going to be a problem. Yes, it's a mouse. Okay. Holding the white flower and stepping off the cliff. So love the Fool. It is perfect. We have a raccoon for the Magician. I think raccoon is such a great energy to pull in for this card. Raccoons, as far as I know, are pretty crafty, and they also do a really good job of sort of making use of the resources around them. So this works super well. I'm going to have to probably continue to refer to the book just to make sure I know what the animals are. But this is very classic Rider-Waite-Smith. We have the as above, so below. We have the red outfit. We have roses on the card. I don't see the white lilies. I might be missing them. No, I don't see the white lilies, but we do have the red flowers. Just a little hint at the Rider-Waite-Smith. And the 4 tools. And we even have the Ouroboros belt, like the snake eating its own tail in the belt. The colors in this deck are so vibrant, and I love that. I know that in an earlier edition, they were a little bit darker, and I just love how much they pop in this edition. Really beautiful. This High Priestess is gorgeous. It looks as though her gown's made of water, which is beautiful. We have the 3 triple moons symbol above her head. And what kind of animal is she? I love the cattails, and we have, I think those might be pomegranates growing over here. So we have the cattails and the pomegranates, and she is a lynx. A powerful lynx, yes. Love that. I like the closed book in her lap and the little crescent moon cloak clip or cape clip there. Perfect. We have a bear for the Empress. I think Mother Bear energy for the Empress works so well in this card. We have the field of wheat here. She's holding some of that wheat. We have the little river. A lot of the symbols you would come to be sort of familiar with through the Rider-Waite-Smith are present, but this is such a sweet way to portray it. I really enjoy it. Here we have the Emperor card, and he's all surrounded by stone and rock. It's a very solid feeling card, which is great. And this is a musk ox. I had to like check that. A musk ox, and we have a Merlin hawk here. Love that. Now, there's 2 Hierophant cards, and I really I love both of these so much. I really struggle with which one to keep. Is this a goat? A mountain goat, yes, for the Hierophant. The keys are present in both. This one has a more sort of Eastern vibe, and this has more of that kind of Catholic look to it, which is really the defining difference. I gotta admit, it's funny, I'm more comfortable with this image, but this one, considering that this is more of a Rider-Waite-Smith inspired, like it feels very strongly Rider-Waite-Smith, I like how much the golden keys pop on the red gown in this one over the golden outfit here where they kind of blend in. I actually didn't even notice the keys at first. So I think I'm actually going to stick with this one, which is an interesting choice for me, but there you go. I love, 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 love this Lover's card. These 2 sea otters on their backs with their little shells is really cute. I feel like there's a missed opportunity here, but then again, maybe not. I think this might have been intentional, but sea otters actually hold hands so that they don't drift apart while they are on their backs. And so they're not holding hands, and I kind of feel like, again, they should be holding hands, but the fact that they're not brings back to mind this idea. They're kind of like this one's looking at this one, and there's this idea that they might be about to partner up and therefore hold hands, but they're not quite, they're like at that cusp of that decision perhaps. So I feel like the choice is more open when they're not holding hands yet. At least that's what I tell myself, but I really love this card so much. All right, then we have the Chariot card. Now the Chariot animal is a wolverine. which is cool. And then we have rabbits, which is a very interesting combination. Pine cones and oak leaves. Let's see. Da, da, da. Oh, no, I'm sorry. These aren't rabbits. These are jackalopes. Oh, my gosh. I didn't notice that before. They're jackalopes. They're little antlered rabbits. That's amazing. I love that. And then in the strength card, we have a hare. This is our main character here. And a wolf, which is an interesting combination. Because, of course, the wolf typically would eat the hare. So you see that the hare is mastering this frightening creature. You know, a creature that could be frightening in many contexts. The hermit is so stinking cute, and it's a mole, which I think is great. Like moles with their digging and burrowing. I think that's just a great analogy for the hermit, and he's so cute. This is a very cozy deck, and it's so nice for this time of year when it's like dark outside and you kind of want to curl up with like, this just feels like the kind of deck to curl up with a good book and like a cup of cocoa or hot tea or something. It's so cute. So here we have the Wheel of Fortune, and we have, it looks like a bear, a raven or a crow, a turtle, and a fox. So I feel like we have fire, air, earth. I don't know. Let's see what it says. I feel like it's kind of, yeah, it does say, a fox, raven, turtle, and bear sit around the trunk of a tree, counting the lifelines of the mighty tree. Inside the tree, we see the stages of birth. Oh, okay, I see that. So a worm forms to a chrysalis and then a butterfly. So we have this sort of like symbolism happening inside the tree trunk. Justice, we have the polar bear. This is really, I think, a poignant card, especially with the melting ice caps. This just makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. Pink light from the sun spills into the landscape of blues. Really pretty. It's a very tranquil looking card, but also kind of lonely, right? Which is an interesting take on justice, because justice, the person doling out justice, like when there is such a person, it can be a very lonely place to be. Then we have the hanged bat, or the hanged beast, which of course makes sense in an animal tarot. We wouldn't have the hanged man. So we have the hanged beast, and it's of course a bat, which is perfect. And we've got these lightning bugs surrounding him. The death card is really beautiful because we're seeing, it looks like a decomposing carcass, like animal carcass. Yeah, a dead creature of the world becomes one with the earth again. We see all these like worms and bones and roots and flower, and it's actually a very natural depiction of death and kind of connecting it with the natural world, which is really lovely. Oh my god, are you a porcupine? Is Temperance a porcupine? I always forget. Yep, porcupine. That's just darling. It's the expression on the porcupine's face for me that really does it. But again, we're getting that Rider-Waite-Smith, 1 foot on land, 1 foot on water. The devil is interesting because it doesn't feel like it's a real creature. Is it meant to be a real creature? An unknown shadow with twisted horns. Yeah, so I don't think it's meant to be. And then there's 3 small creatures sort of caught up in its web. It's sort of sprinkling like stars all around them, almost like it's dazzling them, which is really interesting. And then we have the tower, which of course a tree that is burning, and the forest animals that live in that tree are falling out of it. And so we get that like destruction and havoc that the tower brings. What is that creature? A weasel. How sweet is that? It's always interesting to me to see when Temperance and the Star feel kind of similar, whether it's intentional or not. But you see this sort of duality between these two cards. They're both at the water's edge. The water's on the left. They both have the light, the spiritual light up high. So the sun here, the star here. It's just very interesting to me to see the parallels between the cards. And then we have the moon, and this should be a dog and a wolf here. I'm just going to confirm. The gray wolves. Oh, it's 2 gray wolves. And then we have the fish poking its head up out of the water down here. It's not a crawfish or a lobster. To me, this feels more like communing and like connecting with the wild of the night, of the moonlight. So it feels more like it's about that inner wild and less like it's about like fear or shadows. And I like that. I like the different takes on the moon. There's different places you can take it. Is that a skunk riding a moose in the sun? It's so funny. When I'm reading with this deck, I'm not really taking the time to soak in the imagery the same way. Like, I'm really looking at the scene and I'm kind of intuitively vibing with whatever catches my attention in the moment. But when I sit down to do a video like this, I really get a chance to take in the details, and I appreciate that so, so much. So if you requested this, thank you so much, because I'm really enjoying it. So yes, a skunk joyfully rides high upon the back of a majestic moose. Amazing. The one thing I'm missing on this card is a sense of safety, so like a wall. that kind of surrounds, but the moose's antlers kind of create that sense of boundaries or safety that creates a space for authenticity. What I love about the sun card is there's this opportunity to sort of be naked as yourself, to be accepted as yourself, or to maybe not even care if you're accepted, but just to be you anyway. And it's interesting that the skunk is represented here because what creature of any of them is so like maybe misunderstood or treated as an outsider, even though they're such sweet creatures. Yeah, love that. I have done I have done so much work to understand and relate to this judgment card, and I have so many different thoughts and feelings about it, but this was actually one of the reasons why I didn't keep the earlier edition of this deck that I had. The earlier edition had a stiffer cardstock, but it was this card because I kept reading it as temptation. So I'll tell you what I read it like before, and then I'll talk about some of the takes that I have now, thanks to you all, because I posted in the Supportive Tarot Facebook group and asked, and I also have had people comment on my videos and give me other perspectives on this card, and it's really been appreciated. But the main point here is that when I think of moths and flames, I think of the way that the flame draws the moth in towards its demise, which never really feels very judgmenty to me. Because to me, the judgment card is about evolving. It's about leveling up your life, doing better, becoming more. And there's a few other takes. One of them, I believe, is from Krista over at Crochet Witch Tarot. And Krista mentioned that in her mind, this one is being drawn in towards something that's not right for it, and it's the ones around it, I think this is what she said. I could be getting this all mixed up with other takes, but this idea that, yeah, he is being drawn in, and the idea of judgment is to not keep getting drawn into the same things over and over again that aren't good for you, to instead make a different choice, which works really, really well with my understanding of judgment. Other people have pointed out that the idea is that the moth goes into the flame, and it's a part of that sort of like release of the old self, like the disillusion of the old self, which does work on a spiritual level, but like I guess my relationship with judgment is more grounded in like the everyday and the ways in which we actually do level up our life or choose differently or follow a calling, that kind of thing. And so I wanted to find a way to work with it that way. And I really like the idea of thinking of this as you can make a choice. Like these other moths are not going into the flame. They're doing other things. Some of them are looking in a different direction entirely. And it's this idea that you don't have to keep going to the thing that's not great for you. You could actually turn away and create a different story or different ending to your story. So I kind of am working with it that way. But I have to admit, it's taking some mental gymnastics to get there for me. And yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting take, but it's just not where my brain goes right away. But I have now a comfort in working with it, which is what I needed. I love, is it tortoise, right? I think that's a tortoise, not a turtle. I always get those mixed up. Oh, it says turtle, but I feel like that's a tortoise. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a turtle. I don't know. The turtle or tortoise representation for the world, regardless which one. I don't know why I think I know. It's got webbed feet, so it must be a turtle, right? Because turtles are in the water. Yeah? So turtle. Anyways, God, I don't know why I'm like thinking I know anything about animal identification. Anyways, I like this representation for the world because I think of that imagery of like the whole land being on the turtle's back. It makes me think of the world as a whole. It makes me think of completion. There's a sense there for that brings into play for me. I like that we have the moon and the sun and then all these constellations sort of surrounding this happy turtle. So those are the major arcana, and I think they're really, really well done. Like I said, the only card I had any sticking points with was the Judgment card, and I found a way to work with it, so we're good. So that brings us to the minors, and we start with the Ace of Wands. I love this. I love all the little zaps of like energy coming off this wand. It makes me think of that spark, that powerful feeling of inspiration or of excitement when you know you're like something's just hitting just right, and it's connecting, and you're like, yes, I want to do that thing, you know? The Two of Wands. This one's interesting to me. It's up high. I kind of am missing that idea of the safety of a castle or a home or a structure, because the Two of Wands to me is all about still being in that safe space, but like considering possibilities for what lies beyond that safe space. And we get that here with this, is this a fox, y'all? For real. Fox, yes. Okay, I was pretty sure. I saw the little white tuft on the tail, but just making sure. Anyways, we get that feeling here from the way that he's looking out over this like vast landscape, and you get the water over there in the distance. So we get that possibility, but I just like to also see some sign of that safety as well. And then here we see the 3, and this works perfectly for me. I love to see a 3 that's on the move, that we can see is like departing somewhere, going somewhere. And, oh, it's still a fox. Oh, are we going to stay in foxes? Oh, that's cool. Okay, so we get to stay in foxes throughout the suit, I think. I love that. I love it when decks do that. There was another deck that did this way back when called, okay, it wasn't that long ago, but called the Tarot Fauna, and it had suits that each had their own animal. And again, it's funny, I've read with this deck a bunch, but like I'm like just now soaking it up in its entirety. That's the thing that I miss about doing walkthroughs of like every deck. If only I had the time to do a walkthrough of every single deck, because I just get so much out of it. I really should make time for more of these. Here we have a family of foxes sort of celebrating. There's a hive here with bees, so we get the idea that there's some sweetness, some honey, some celebrating. There's an idea that we've paused to sort of soak up the goodness that we've manifested for ourselves here. I love that. And then we get the competition of the 5. And a lot of these foxes, this one looks a little bit like it's like getting worked up. But this one like has a really calm and almost happy expression on its face. So you get that idea that everybody's engaging with a slightly different energy. We can't assume that everybody in here is just trying to like win. Some of them are just enjoying the play of it or the test of it. Then we have the 6 of Wands. And is that okay. Can foxes be gray? Like, I'm trying to understand. One fox walks into the happy reception. The other foxes are so happy to celebrate this fox's success. Oh, okay, so we have our victor. It's a little unclear in this image to me which one is the sort of one being celebrated, but I mean, you can tell. It's just that it's the composition of the image that makes me pause, but you can see that this fox has a wreath on its head. So you definitely can tell this is the one being celebrated. But they all have a feeling of kind of going away from the viewer in this image, so sometimes it takes me a second, but it's there. I love when we see somebody on the high ground in the 7 of Wands. It's classic, but I think it works really well for the meaning of the card, which to me is all about sort of defending your position, standing up for something that means something to you, protecting something like a value that matters to you, that sort of thing. And then we have the 8. This is a really interesting take because the fox is sort of facing, all these wands are kind of coming at the fox. You get this feeling like he's getting just like battered by them. That can honestly be how the 8 of Wands feels at times. Like you're getting a download, like a creative download, for example, and that can feel good. But it can also feel really overwhelming and like you're just kind of being swept up in it and you don't have any say in what's going on. So it can feel really overwhelming and really like intense. And I think this really kind of illustrates that idea pretty well. Then we have the 9 of Wands. I love you can see his breath, so you know it's cold. We got the hints of snow on the ground, but he's hanging in there. And then we have the 10. And this is really an ambiguous 10, and I like it. Sometimes 10s can look really beaten down, and I actually tend to lean into that imagery a lot. But I like that there's also an option to read this as like maybe he's just getting a second wind and, you know, there's this little bit of a hill ahead, so it's going to be tough. But, you know, the way that the sticks are bundled is a little less awkward than they are in some cards. So you see that he can make it. Oh my God, this Page of Wands is like, looks like he should be at a dance party. Amazing. I love it. And the Knight of Wands, they're not riding horses, but I love that he's got this like little mask. That's really interesting. It can speak to the way that the Knight of Wands could potentially be a little bit more tricksy or a little bit more manipulative at times. And then we have the Queen of Wands looking us dead in the face, which makes sense. Totally tracks for her personality. And, ooh, throw in the cards. And then we have our King of Wands, who looks very regal. We have little salamander on his throne, very Rider-Waite-Smith. Little, like, flame swirls on the gown. Okay, the cup suit is typically the one that I'm the most invested in, so let's see how I feel here. We have the Ace of Cups. I love that we have the lotuses. That's on the Rider-Waite-Smith, and I just love the symbology of it. I also really like when the ace looks like fountainish. That's kind of a neat quality. This 2 of Cups is great. What are these? Wait, what are the creatures of this suit? What are they? Are they all going to be the same like in the wands? Deer. Are they all going to be deer? Yep, they're all going to be deer, I think. So here they're looking into each other's eyes. Their hands are at the same level. I look for equality in the 2. I look for 2 people being on the same page, being on equal footing. Nobody's overpowering the other. I do like that we could have a little bit of masculine and feminine energy if we were looking for that, but it's not like required to see it that way. You've got some flexibility in how you could interpret it, which I appreciate. Are these still deer though? Because they've got the curved horns. Do deer have curved horns? It doesn't actually say. It just says the dancers. Okay, somebody who knows animals better tell me. You don't have to, but like, is there a type of deer that has curved horns? Because I think this suit is meant to be all deer, but like, are they deer? Or are they something else? Are they rams? I don't know. Anyways, I do like that they're all wearing different outfits. One of the things I specifically look for in a Three of Cups is to see that the three characters in the card are all different from one another. They're not like homogenous. I'm looking for that difference because it plays into the way that I interpret the card. And the Four of Cups, that's a deer. That's a deer. Yeah. And the Five of Cups too. I'm missing in the scenery, I don't know, some hint that there's more beyond. I don't know. And then the Six, we have an older and younger. These are clearly two young ones. Seven, very classic, Rider-Waite-Smith, definitely still a deer. I had to be educated recently that female deer can have horns. Or no, cows. It was cows. Female cows can have horns. I didn't know. And then we have the Eight of Cups. I love the moon reflecting in the water here. The Nine of Cups still gives me dude with a bunch of wine vibes for sure. But I love that he's carrying a little four-leaf clover. You get the idea that, like, you know, he feels lucky, he feels grateful. And I like that little tie-in. It's a little delicate tie-in that's there for you if you're looking for it, and I appreciate that a lot. And then we have family vibes with the rainbow for the 10 of Cups. Okay, I'm pretty happy with those. Look at our page. It's so cute. I love that the page has a little open book and is sitting on the ground. Love that. So the wand page was standing. Okay, I was just curious if all the pages were going to be sitting, because they are the earth of their suit, right? So there's Earth of Water for the Page of Cups. So it's cool. The Knight of Cups on the move. That is not a deer. Okay, wait. Are you not a deer too? Okay, wait. Did we stray from deer? Pronghorn. So the Page of Cups is a pronghorn. The Knight of Cups doesn't tell me. It doesn't tell me. Oh no. What kind of animal is that? I feel like it's like a bison. Looks like a bison. And the Queen of Cups. Oh no, does it not tell me here? I don't think it tells me. Is she a cow? I think she's a cow. Maybe? I don't know. And then the King of Cups is an elk. So I feel like that went a little bit off the beaten path as far as like one animal sort of dominating the suit, because we have mostly deer in the cups. And then in the wands we had mostly foxes, but then are some of these not foxes? Like, now I'm confused. But I think it might just have more to do with like herding animals, like as in herding, like herding animals might be the thing for the cups. I'm not sure. If you know, please feel free to chime in down below. That brings us to the swords. We have the Ace of Swords. Love the acorns and the oak leaf. The Two of Swords. This is a raven or a crow. Are they ravens and crows all through? Yeah, so this one seems like it's also sticking to one creature throughout. Let's just see if it's ravens or crows. I think it's crows, but let's see. A crow. Okay. That is such a beautiful scene, though. I love it. Three of Swords. Love it. Four of Swords, the resting crow. I love seeing the sun setting in the background. At least I perceive that as sunset. It could be sunrise, I suppose, but I see it as sunset. Time to rest. And then we have the Five. I think crows are great for the sword suit. They really work well. The Six, traveling over water, rough water and smooth. The Seven. Oh, this is interesting. We have these two little critters just like by a little fire in the background. That's cute. The Eight of Swords. Symbolically, this deck works really well, right? Because in the Eight of Swords, we're used to seeing a little bit of water on the ground. The positioning of the swords is kind of similar. We have the same sort of wrapping and gown color, that sort of thing. This is a beautiful Nine of Swords. Okay, is that still a crow, though? Because it's got white on it. Was this one a crow? Wait, I think that one was still a crow. Okay, now I've got to see. I feel like we deviate a little bit. Let's see. Oh, no, the Eight of Swords is a sparrow. The Nine of Swords is a nuthatch. I love that image, though. That's really cute. And the Ten of Swords is a bluebird. So all birds, but mostly crows. The Page of Swords is a crow. Love that. The Knight of Swords, though, is a blue jay. I think blue jay works really well for the Knight of Swords. The Queen of Swords, we're back to a raven. Oh, well, so not a crow, but a raven. You get that giant beak. Love that. And then the King of Swords is an owl, which, again, owl works really great for the courts. So the courts change up the birds of their suit. It makes me want to revisit the wands. Let me just see. Because all the animals were different in the courts of the water suit, too. So let's see. So wands. The page is a fox. The knight is a coyote. The queen is a fox. And the king is a black wolf. Okay, I thought they were all foxes. My bad. I feel like I need like labels on animals because I'm so terrible with animal identification. I'm sorry. Okay, Ace of Pentacles. Love the big golden pentacle over this like kind of gateway like looking space between the trees there. A beaver. I know what those look like for the Two of Pentacles. Hard at work here trying to decide like where to put their energy. The Three of Pentacles. We have squirrel and mice. Rats. They're working together, perhaps, to create a space to store their food for the winter. Love that. Cooperation, that's awesome. Because you would normally see them as competing for the same food, but they're sort of like working together. That's great. We have another squirrel here in the 4. Love that. You get the feeling with all of these like trees behind that there's lots of bounty in the woods, but they're clinging to what they have. The 5, we have rats again. Rats? Yes. You don't see the normal, like the same hint of shelter, although the trees in the background offer shelter. Then we have the 6, and we have a squirrel sharing with some little mice. We have a hare in the 7 of Pentacles. Pretty sure. And in the 8 of Pentacles. Let's see. The 7 was hare, the 8 is a rabbit. Cool that I could kind of tell the difference. I think it's like the ears. And they're like bigger in the face. I don't know. I'm never going to get better at this. Okay, there's the 8 of Pentacles. Very Rider-Waite-Smith. The 9, okay, that's a badger, right? Nope, it's a skunk. Okay, I was going to say skunk, and then I'm like, no, Lisa. Look at the face. That is a skunk, though. And then in the 10, we have a gathering of ground animals. So the earth suit is all about ground animals. Oh, interesting. So if I think about it, the wands suit is about like sort of foxes and sort of, I guess, forest canines, you could say. The cup suit was about grazing animals, like herding and grazing animals, like deer and cows and things. The air suit was obviously flying animals, mostly crows, but we had some other types of birds in there. And then the earth suit was about ground animals. So squirrels and mice and skunk, obviously, and rats, that sort of thing. So anyways, the Page of Pentacles, we have a hare again, reading a book. Love that. So now that makes me wonder, do all the pages have books? I always look for commonality between the suits, just I'm curious. Nope, the Page of Swords didn't have a book, which is funny because the Page of Swords is totally the intellectual. Page of Cups had a book. Page of Wands didn't have a book, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no. So the Page of Wands and the Page of Swords are more active, whereas the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Cups are more restful, which does work actually for their personalities, kind of. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles, and this is a cottontail, so a type of rabbit. And we see him standing still, like not charging ahead like the other quartz. Oh, I accidentally turned these this way. Let's turn them that way. There we go. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles, keeping an eye on her resources. And she was a rabbit again. Another cottontail. And the King of Pentacles is a crowned gray hare. Oh my gosh. They're so stinking cute. Let's give it a quick shuffle and we'll take a look at the guidebook. This is a linen, so it shuffles and bridges beautifully. It's not going, doesn't smell like it's going to like warp or bow. Although depending on where it's printed, I do know that some linen-y cardstocks do develop a bow over time. It's not unheard of. Depends on how you shuffle. but they don't stick. They're very slippery, slidey, but they don't feel as slippery, slidey as some linen decks can feel. Love that sound. I'm going to hand over hand a little just to break up our pile here before I riffle again a couple of times. And we'll pull a card and we'll take a look at what a guidebook entry sounds like. Ah. All right, so we have the Five of Pentacles. So the guidebook is just a really simple, skinny little guy. It's about 34 pages, and we just have some basic write-ups. So we get right into it from card descriptions from the beginning. There's a little take a deep breath and get into it. And then we get right into card descriptions. Each card description is a couple of paragraphs, or a paragraph and a bit, depending. So let's go to the Five of Pentacles. Okay, Five of Pentacles. Cold wind blows towards two mice moving away from the shelter of the woods, walking towards bleak fields covered in snow and ice. Everything around you isn't working, but those are just material things. Make sure you try to be warm, soft, and caring with yourself. Oops. Oh no, I lost my page. Don't relive your pain until it breaks you down. You're not alone in wanting to move forward. Find a safe space, a comfy chair, a song, and real place to give you hope, and remember why you're here on this journey. The earth wants you here, and to succeed, winter can't last forever. So just a message of hope there, really cute. Like I said, I don't think the original versions of this came with a guidebook, and I think what I had done before is kept the guidebook in the box, because I feel like it's such a Rider-Waite-Smith deck that it's really easy to just simply read it by laying out cards. Let's do a quick little energy obstacle advice sample reading so you can see what that looks like. So energy obstacle advice, we'll just do a little reading for the collective. So whoever needs to hear this in this moment, this is just your energy, the obstacle currently blocking your path, and the advice to move forward. Energy, Four of Cups. So you might be feeling a little bit like it's kind of same old, everything, the same old thing is repeating. It doesn't feel like there's a lot like coming at you that feels really great at the moment, but there's a lack of awareness of all the good that already surrounds you. There's sort of a need to tap back into what is good in the three cups that you're staring at. When you do that, when you sort of unlock gratitude, when you sort of look around you and recognize your blessings, you open yourself up to more goodness to come your way. The obstacle is the Six of Pentacles. So this is a card about being willing to share your gifts, share your skills, share your resources with others, but also be willing to accept when others offer theirs to you. Just pay attention to where you are in this cycle. When this comes up as an obstacle, it could imply that you are having difficulty accepting help from others or admitting you need help. Or it could be on the flip side, you're finding it difficult to, or maybe you're feeling nervous about sharing or paying things forward. Maybe you're worried you don't have enough to offer and there's no point. Maybe you're just feeling like you don't want to risk what resources or skills or knowledge you have by sharing it. But it's worth looking at your relationship with that thing to figure out how you can best move forward. And then the advice is the Knight of Pentacles, which is very much an energy of you don't have to move fast. You don't need to make changes fast, but just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Really focus on what it is you're trying to accomplish and just begin, just like baby steps. One step, then another step, then another step. This isn't necessarily a time for like risk taking. I see that across the entire spread. This is a time to sort of lean into stability and sort of get your feet underneath you, get feeling really stable and solid, like get that solid foundation supporting you, and then you can really move forward in a good way, like in a strong way. So that is the Northern Animal Tarot. Really sweet deck. Really, again, very cozy for this time of year. It feels like all the cozy games I love and all that kind of thing. It's a beautiful deck. And that, again, is by Wilder Heart Studio. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I took a little tour through this beauty. And as always, an extra big thank you goes out to my unicorn fam. Thank you so much for supporting everything I do here. And to all of you watching this video, liking, subscribing. Remember, only about half of you who watch are actually subscribed, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Your likes, your comments, all your engagement really helps the channel, so thank you so, so much. And until next time, may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye!